I shall pray for you morning and evening.
For over 70 years, he graced stage and screen with a voice that commanded attention.
Don't you try and go through life worried if somebody like you or not.
James.Earl.Jones was born in rural Mississippi in 1931, raised by his mother and his grandparents. As a child, he developed a debilitating stutter.
You never get over it, really. You simply learn how to work around it, you know.
A high school teacher helped Jones find his confidence and his voice. He fell in love with the stage at the University of Michigan and debuted on Broadway in 1957.
Just on a block and then keeping him off me.
His breakthrough Tony-winning performance came as boxing champ Jack Johnson in The Great White Hope, which was later turned into a movie.
Because every time you push that pinched-up face in front of me, I see where it done got me.
As his movie career grew, he continued acting on the small screen. The first celebrity guest on Sesame Street.
I am your father.
But it was a 2.5-hour voiceover session for George Lucas that changed his life.
So he hires a guy born in Mississippi, raised in Michigan, who stutters. And that's the voice, and that's me. I lucked out.
The role propelled him, or at least his voice, to worldwide fame as Darth Vader in Star Wars. For the next 40 years, he excelled on stage, winning a second Tony Award.
James.Earl.Jones.
And on the big screen, a Navy admiral in the hunt for Red October.
And I was never here.
In The Lion King.
You are more than what you have become.
The voice of a network.
This is CNN.
And the voice of all baseball fans in Field of Dreams.
People will come, Ray. People will most definitely come.
He received an honorary Academy Award, had a Broadway theater named for him, became a Kennedy Center honoree, continuing to work in new projects and revisiting classic roles.
I'm only brave when I have to be. May I have your attention, please?
On screen and in life, James.Earl.Jones was a king.
The goal wasn't to be a billionaire or to be a Hollywood star, to be a part of good storytelling. The goal was about that.
I found you!
He found his voice, and we got a legend. Steve Patterson, NBC News, Los Angeles.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.
James.Earl.Jones, the American actor known for being the voice of Darth Vader in Star Wars, has died at the age of 93. His agent, Vader Mufasa, sent a message to journalists this morning. He passed. The message read, James.Earl.Jones overcame racial prejudice and a severe stutter to become a celebrated icon of stage and screen, eventually lending his deep and commanding voice to The Lion King and, of course, to Darth Vader, that performance of which he's best known. He worked deep into his 80s. He won 2 Emmys, a Golden Globe, 2 Tony Awards, a Grammy, a National Medal of Arts, and so it goes on. And in 2022, a Broadway theatre was renamed in his honour. He had a traumatic childhood. He was part of the Great Migration, living with his grandparents who moved him from Mississippi to Michigan, where the trauma of his early life manifested into a stuttering problem. He said, I didn't want to talk, bad enough that I just gave up. I couldn't introduce myself to people who visited the house, and it was too painful. In high school, though, through the arts, and in his case, writing and reciting poetry, he reclaimed his voice, that famous voice that we know so well. Initially a pre-med student in school, he majored then in drama at the University of Michigan, a calling that, despite not being raised by his father, was in his genes. Robert Earl Jones, or just Earl Jones as he became known, emerged as a well-known actor after leaving his family. First of all, appearing on Broadway in the decades before heading off to a galaxy far, far away. He was a Tony-winning Broadway star, first winning Best Actor in 1970 for his role of a Jack Johnson-inspired boxer in the play The Great White Hope. He was similarly nominated for the Academy Award for Best Actor for the same role in the play's big screen adaptation. Spending the 60s establishing himself on stage, becoming one of the era's preeminent Shakespeare actors, would you believe, and his film debut coming in 1964, a small role in Stanley Kubrick's Cold War black comedy Dr. Strangelove, playing a bombardier aboard the nuke-dropping airplane. Big screen roles then followed The Comedians, The Man Claudine and The Greatest, Muhammad Ali starring biopic where Jones played Malcolm X followed. But Jones would soon make his biggest impact in cinema from a recording booth and not in front of the camera for 1977 Star Wars, providing Darth Vader's imposing on-screen presence under that sleek black suit and that scary mask, a verbal delivery, making an intimidating character. His Star Wars castmates calling him Darth Farmer during shooting. So director George Lucas searched elsewhere to give the villain the voice it deserved. That was the British bodybuilder David Prowse who did not succeed at the role. I knew the voice had to be very, very special, Lucas said. In 2015. It was a tough choice, but in the end, it was a really easy choice. It was really a choice between Orson Welles and James.Earl.Jones. James.Earl.Jones won hands down. He created, with very little dialogue, Lucas said, one of the greatest villains that ever lived.